Good evening and welcome to the Whaler Guys, 20-28 Sargent Street in Hartford, the heart of the city. We are the Whaler Guys and you guys are the Brigade. We're one nation under green. On a rainy, cold, damp night here in Hartford, we're going to talk Phoenix or Arizona because Phoenix kicked them out.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of what they're called now.
Yeah,
the Glendale
exactly.
Coyotes.
The transition team.
Yes.
And then we have UConn, and of course we'll talk a little bit about the Wolf Pack in this short half hour we have with you tonight. But first, the news about a longtime Hartford Booster Club member, Edrie Buck, who unfortunately passed away the other night. She was a great person, a very sweet woman. When I used to go to the Booster Club meetings, and it was always nice to see her at the games when she was there with Joanne Cortesa and the other people of the Booster Club. Very sad news, Peter.
Yeah, she was one of the. She was a big Whaler fan and also went to all the Wolfpack games, and she sat behind the visitors' goal, had season tickets every year. She'd make the trip down to the game, and I'll tell you, she always had the best jersey on in the building. And she was a big jersey buyer. She had Whaler jerseys. She had all these special promotion Wolfpack jerseys, and she had the best looking jersey on. Different jersey almost every game. And she came to our events. She came to Salute. She was in the Salute show. She was there, and she's been on the bus trips with us. So it's been kind of tough because we lost Marty was another big part of the Booster Club, and we lost him in April. Yes. It's tough to see because these guys have been with us a long time, and they belong with Booster Club, and they've been a big part of Hartford hockey. And you kind of wish that they got that chance to see the Whalers back, and maybe they will watch it from heaven one day. But we really
all might be there.
Yeah, we all might be there. But she was a fantastic part of Hartford hockey, and one of those people that been there from beginning to end, and a
really polite lady all the time.
Yeah, very nice,
and
into hockey.
Yeah, always had a smile on her face, and always wanted to talk to you. And it was, it's gonna be sad for the Booster Club, and we pass on our condolences to the family and friends of Edrie Buck. And now we'll switch gears because I know Edrie would like us to talk hockey because she was a big hockey fan.
Yeah, absolutely. So, boy, how long has this taken? And again, this is now the new direction this is heading, but are we actually going anywhere? It's been a rough ride for the Arizona, Phoenix, Glendale Coyotes. This is their 20th season. They left Winnipeg 20 years ago. This is their third damn building in 20 years. That means after 6.5 seasons, they're jumping into a new building. Now, the rumor is that's what they're saying, but basically Tempe, Arizona, where the Arizona State University Devils play, and they're kind of doing the similar thing than what UConn is trying to do. In other words, get a building, put your college team in there, and then get an NHL client. Hartford would love to be in that situation. The building that we're trying to get done for Hartford is going through that type of thing where they want to have UConn as a big part of it and then maybe get the NHL. So this arena is going to take a couple years to build. So they do have an extended lease with Glendale for the next 2 seasons under AEG, who's managing the building. So their one caveat, which it always is, there's always this one thing that hangs on this whole balance of this. It's so stupid because they can never get anything like in stone. If they have, of course, and I think that was even mentioned in the article, if they have all their budget and planning set by June 30th, they're good to go. And now it's November 15th?
Yeah.
June 30th is a long time, so now we got to wait all this time to see if they got it. It's the 10th largest media market in the country, so it makes sense that the NHL wants to stay there, but 3 buildings in 20 years?
Well, the one thing that I see as this being successful this time is the partnership with University of Arizona.
Yeah, that's true.
Or Arizona State, I'm sorry. When you can couple the NHL with the university hockey or the college hockey, you're going to bring enough in.
Yeah.
I think, like they said, there's going to be a 16,000-seat arena with an adjoining 4,000-seat arena for the college hockey.
Yeah.
And it'll also be a practice facility for the Arizona Coyotes. I can see this working. As much as I don't want it to work and I want teams to be relocatable, and especially once, and this is a caveat I have to put out there because everyone gets all bummed out. They start getting all pissed off, and don't get me wrong, I'm irritated too, but until we get this XL Center totally done, meaning up to standards and modernized, we are not a marketable place. We're a marketable place when they come out with these studies about disposable income, yes.
Yeah.
but the building has to be done before we really become truly marketable.
Yeah.
And you know, unfortunately, I'm the most impatient person in the world, and we sit there, and I know you guys have to remember it is truly a marathon, not a sprint. We're not getting a team tomorrow. We're not getting a team tomorrow unless there's some concession with an investment group or a team that wants to invest money into getting this done quicker and not waiting for the state to get it done.
Yeah.
Right now they have to use bonding money, so on and so forth. We won't get into politics. But we have to, it's a snail's pace right now, and you know, it's very frustrating for two guys talking about our team that we want back and we want professional hockey, meaning the NHL, but we have two tenants that give us the hockey right now, and this is our fix for right now, UConn and the Wolf Pack.
Right, and we were told that there were clubs that had a credit with the NHL. In other words, they were borrowing money from the NHL to keep themselves afloat. We know the Coyotes were broke in 2009, and the NHL did carry them for a couple years. We still think that line of credit is out there. It just seems like they'll do anything to keep that market, you know, being it's so large. And you've said this before, and we have to kind of think about this too. The way that Phoenix has been run, it leaves a lot to be desired. And is that the team that you actually want to come back to Hartford with, you know, the mismanagement and the confusion? Yeah. And we talked about earlier, we have an earlier show where they released a letter to the fans, kind of like, it was always you. It was always you. You know, we asked all these other cities. I mean, they even inquired about Hartford through a third party. But then, you know, they sent a letter out at the beginning of the season. It was always about you. It was always about you. And it sounds creepy. But anyway,
but you know,
yeah.
When you talk about the NHL line of credit, and you know, you saw pictures earlier online that showed the half full or half empty arena out in Glendale. So,
yeah.
you know, it's like the Carolina Hurricanes the other night. They had back-to-back games where they just drew just over 8,000. And that's ticket sales.
Right.
You know, you looked at those pictures, and it didn't look like 8,000.
Yeah.
It looked less than that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
again, it's those ticket sales. And again, is that corporations buying up these tickets and the people are just not going? And, you know, who's the other team out there? We were told there's 3 different teams with the line of credit: Phoenix, or Arizona, maybe Carolina. Carolina, with everything we spoke about with Mr. Karmanos and his dealings with his sons and how much in debt they are and this, that, other thing, you know, you have to wonder what he's going to do. And now there's talk about them building a brand new arena in Charlotte for them.
Yeah, we've been hearing that. Rumors about Carolina getting an arena in Charlotte.
To share with the Charlotte Bobcats.
Right, which would you know, kind of kill us.
Charlotte Hornets, I'm sorry. Are they Bobcats or Hornets?
They're one or the other.
It's
basketball. One or the other. It's basketball.
The NBA team in Charlotte.
Yeah,
okay?
whatever, you know, that thing that they bounce and they shoot through.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so Charlotte's a good market, much more inland, and, you know, they've been in Raleigh for, well, technically 17 years. They were 3 years in Greensboro.
Yeah, at the hangar.
But, you know, this is something that could actually help leverage some of their costs.
But it's also interesting because NC State is looking to build a brand new arena in Raleigh.
Yeah.
So why are you going to build a brand new arena? Because I must say, in 2010, I went down to Carolina in Raleigh and saw a game there, and I thought it was a very nice arena.
Yeah.
We know that they're not building an arena for the Carolina Hurricanes. They're building it for the North Carolina State Wolf Pack.
Yeah.
Because hockey or basketball rules down there, not hockey.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the feeling that Karmanos and his investors are thinking, well, let's move it over to Charlotte. Maybe there's more bang for our buck over in Charlotte.
Yeah, and, you know, there has been some, I guess, difficulties with them. I remember a couple years ago that they were bowing to the NC Wolf Pack, in other words, in terms of dates. And I think that the Wolf Pack got like first dates so that they had to accommodate, the NHL had to figure out, you know, how to schedule around that. They might be thinking, let's just eliminate that, get out of that whole area and get into Charlotte.
But then you're going to have to buy with the NBA team.
Yeah.
So you're still dealing with basketball.
They're going to be a second-rate, you know, tenant in there.
Yeah.
There's no way they're. I'm sure the Bobcats or Hornets or whatever they are drawing more.
Yeah.
I think it's Bobcats. The Hornets. Yeah, the Hornets are in New Orleans. Yeah. Anyway, so and the Utah Jazz is in Utah, so that makes sense. You know. Yeah.
Celtics are in Boston.
Well, that makes sense.
In New York.
Yeah. But I mean, what's Jazz in Utah? I don't know. I never saw any there. But anyway.
There's not a lot of Jazz.
But anyway, so, that could be bad for us from the standpoint that Phoenix might be wrapped up into a new arena, and, Charlotte for Carolina, which would, again, leave maybe the Islanders and maybe the Panthers. But in general, like we said, we keep just moving, getting the process of this arena done. We just don't know where a team going to come from. It could come from, any of these places. But the Islanders are the ones that definitely seem like they're going to be exercising that lease option to opt out of that lease, which was good till 2034. I would be comfortable saying there's no way in heck they're going to stay to the 2034. I don't know if they'll stay to 20. If you want to do military time, will they be there at 8:34 tonight?
Right.
That's 2034.
Well, it's one of those things where first came the nonsense with obstructed views. It wasn't made for hockey. The scoreboard's off center.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this year, the ice making equipment is not NHL standards. Okay,
Right.
so is this, as we've heard from some very good sources, is this the beginning of the bad publicity, public relations, where you can't satisfy our needs, we're out of here?
Right.
And we've heard it before. If a team is going to leave, you're going to see, prior to the exit, you're going to hear all the bad things that are happening in that arena or with the team or with the investment group or so on and so forth. You're going to see the bad public relations and then an exit.
Right.
So
you sour the milk.
Yep, and you see that with the Islanders. You saw it with Florida, who has this stupid-ass contract.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're sticking around, but you look at the games and you look at the pictures online, nobody's at the Florida Panthers games either.
Yeah.
Again, it's going to be fun. Well, hopefully for the next show or the show after, because I won't be here next week, Pete will fly solo on that one.
Yeah.
We will have to look at the attendance numbers and really see what's going on with some specific teams and get back to you with what we're seeing. And I think we really have to kind of hunker down and just wait to see where the low-lying fruit is.
Wait, but the one good thing we did see is we talked to some people about the arena, the XL arena, and one of the questions I had immediately was, tell me there's not PVC pipe going into the XL Center, because that's the problem with the Islanders Barclays Center is they have PVC piping underneath the the ice sheet, and it can't keep it. I think it's 21 degrees they want to keep it at or something along those lines. They want to keep it
15.
Is it 15?
15 degrees.
And the PVC piping is plastic, and it doesn't maintain the coolness. So some of the complaints come from the Islanders players. So I asked. I said, we're doing the XL Center ice. To please tell me there's not PVC pipe going in there. And they said, no, we got steel piping going in the XL Center. They did bid it out, though, for both. So originally they were looking at that PVC piping, and then, I'm not saying after they got this news they switched, but I think they learned that, hey, if we really want to make this, solidified.
Several people we spoke to in the room that day, we were helping them, guide them towards these steel piping.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, that's good because, that's a big part of making this NHL acceptable, is having ice that is not going to fail. You're not going to have any issues. Any soft ice, that type of thing, because it really affects a hockey game too. When you got this, guys can get hurt, that type of thing. So at least like I said, we're going to have ice that's going to be, comparable to any place in the country, most likely.
And the other thing is, even if the NHL doesn't come back, UConn and the Wolf Pack or whoever's here, will have good ice surface to play on.
Yeah.
The other thing that irritates me, and not that I'm getting crazy, is the arena they're proposing in Tempe is only 16,000 seats.
Yeah, I thought it was a little small.
Well, what they're doing, and unfortunately, as we all know, we don't have all this disposable income they talk about, because that's a whole different type of people, because me and you don't have it.
Yeah.
They're making the ticket prices higher, but having smaller arenas.
Yeah.
So, to me, that irritates me. I know you want to sell tickets, but I think you're going to sell more tickets if you have cheaper prices and you can fill the arena.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Put a winning product on the ice. Oh, you'll sell tickets.
Yeah.
Son of a gun.
Imagine that. Yeah.
Last night, and we're going to be talking about UConn.
Yep.
UConn men lost their second in a row. They lost the first game was to Wagner College University.
And then Northeastern,
And then Northeastern.
Yeah.
Wagner's an NEC team that plays CCSU.
Yeah.
So that was a big letdown.
Yeah.
And then they lost last night to Northeastern.
Yeah.
The women last night played Florida and only won by 2.
Wow, I didn't know it was that close. They were,
it was their 21st consecutive opening night win.
Wow.
their 77th in a row.
Wow.
But it was a little too close for comfort.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Gino had him running today.
Yeah, and he's saying like this year if he does something with this group, because I don't think they have like a pure standout like superstar.
Well, their core is gone.
Yeah, right. So if he can do something with this group, that would be something. Now the UConn men hockey ice team.
Well, this opens the door to that.
Yeah, exactly.
They could be in the spotlight.
Yeah, they could because they and you know what? And speaking of that, they just played 2 games against Ohio State on the road. They lost the first one 7-4, and they ended up tying the second one 3-3. Now this is the 5th tie this team has had in let's see how many games is it? It's 11 games. They got so almost half of their games have been ties. While that is they call that kissing your sister, but at the same time you got a tie against Ohio State, you got a tie against Notre Dame. You got a tie against AIC, which isn't
don't bring that one up.
You got a tie against RIT,
Yes.
and you got a tie against Colgate.
Yep.
So 3 to 4 or 5 of those clubs are like big league. I mean, Notre Dame, I think, is still in the top 10, and Ohio State, who they just tied, is 13th ranked. And the first game was 7-4, and that may sound like they got blown out a little bit. It was Huska in goal, the Adam Huska, the freshman goalie for UConn. But to be honest, they were 5-4 at the end of 2, and Ohio State got one more goal, made it 6-4, and then an empty netter made it 7-4. So they didn't really get blown out, but they did lose by 3 goals. But getting the tie, and this is the really cool part, Rob Nichols was named the defensive player of the week for Hockey East again.
Nice.
With 46 saves in that 3-3 tie. And on top of that, he set a record at Ohio State in that particular arena, which they drew about like 4,000 people. 24 saves in a period.
Wow.
And that was a record for that building. And
then you go back.
Yeah.
If you go back to the previous weekend.
Yeah.
They tied UMass.
Right.
2-2.
That was another bad tie.
Yeah, I know. But
that's a bad tie in UMass.
But again, it's a point rather than a loss.
You're right, and that's what brings us into the point. In Hockey East standings, they're ranked 6. So UConn is 6 right now, tied with BU in the Hockey East standings.
And they play them Friday night.
They play them Friday night, so that's a huge game. But BU definitely has more of a goals factored, goals against, where UConn's kind of like I think they're 2 more goals factored than giving up. So that would be huge. I mean, even walking away with a tie from BU would be good. A win would be phenomenal. And then they play Saturday in BU.
And then Tuesday they play BC at
home. BC is a killer right now. They're they got an incredible record for Hockey East. They're at the top of the standings. So that game could be, really, really bad. Or it could be, they could show up. And, who do you start in goal? Because really, while Huska didn't have the greatest game in Ohio State, both him and Nichols are playing so well that you really have a good 1-2 punch.
And we talked about that in our earlier shows.
Yeah.
This is an opportune time to have a good defense with Nichols and Huska.
Yeah.
And what did you say at the last show? 9 players.
They had
9 games.
9 games, and they had
4 players.
Yeah,
with 4 goals.
And that was the thing about playing up at Ohio State. You look at the names on the scoring sheet. It's always Laternov. Tage Thompson, Evan Richardson. I mean, they're always So in a way, that's good. But at the same time, you want to see a little bit more depth in scoring because. Going into coaching against UConn, if I could shut down Evan, if I could shut down Laternov and Tage, that's almost all of their offensive output. So we'll have to see how that goes, especially this Friday, because they're playing up against a big BU club. We expect a lot of people to be there. If you can get there Friday, of course this won't air until next week, but get to the Tuesday game then, because BU and BC, there's really nothing like it at the XL Center. And no offense to the Wolf Pack, but you don't kind of see this kind of
energy.
Yeah, crowd, energy, atmosphere. Now the play on ice may be a little bit lower than what the AHL is because those are bigger guys and they've been playing longer. But I'll tell you, the atmosphere of the game should be pretty good for BU on Friday.
And the other thing is, every Tuesday, remember, Rich Capola meets up with Coach Kavanaugh tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we'll be at the new location of Bears Smokehouse on Front Street in Hartford. But listen to WTIC 1080 at 6:30 to 7:30, and it's the coaches show with Rich Capola and Coach Kavanaugh because, it really keeps you up to date on what's going on. Rich does a great job moderating the show and putting the show together, and you get a lot of insight from Coach Cav.
Yeah, and it's going to be an interesting thing to see how he keeps these plays going and how now he's going to have these big games finally because it feels like it's been a while. UConn started playing just a little bit over a month ago. I think October 11th was their first game when they played Alabama Huntsville. So they got a whole month into the season, and finally you're going to see these big games against BU, BC, which are always you might see the governor at the games too.
Especially the Tuesday.
Yeah, maybe Tuesday because he's a BC alum.
Yeah.
so we'll have to see that.
Or I won't be there.
Yeah, no, you won't be there, so you won't be no surprise visit. And I'm not going to go up there and walk because what happened to me is I'll be led away in handcuffs or something. He approached the governor.
But when we get together for these games, it's like you said, there's a certain energy downtown. You see with the traffic, and you have the rush hour going out, you have the crowds coming in, and especially with BU and BC, it's only a couple hours away from Boston, so you get the parents coming in if they live in that area. Maybe you have some Connecticut residents, their kids go to BC and BU,
right? Where
we're going to get hopefully some good crowds in, especially the Friday night game. Hopefully the Tuesday night game with BC coming in generate some.
That's always an interesting one because it's Thanksgiving week. Most people have Wednesday or a short day Wednesday. So you expect, they had 6 Tuesday nights last year. This having BC on a Tuesday night should be good.
Well,
It
depends who's getting out of school when, too.
Yeah.
Maybe the colleges are letting the kids out. I haven't looked at our schedule, but, maybe they're letting them out. I don't think they're going to let them out. Maybe they'll let them out Wednesday and they have Thursday, Friday off.
Yeah.
But, you hope that there's a lot of students at the game. And, I don't believe either of the basketball teams are playing for UConn this upcoming holiday week.
Yeah.
But you never know.
We'll have to see if Kavanaugh goes to the split. Does he put Huska in for Friday and Nichols on a Tuesday? I mean,
or vice versa.
I think if I had the reins, I think I'd go with Nichols in both games, only because of the experience. He's a little bit familiar.
I'd want Huska back on Friday night to get him back on the right track.
It's very probable. I mean, he's played well enough, I think, where they think that they can throw him to the Wolves. But we'll have to wait and see.
Who's the Wolf? Is it BU or BC?
BC would be a bigger predator,
so
I think.
Take Nichols on that
night. Take Nichols on Tuesday night.
You can have the freshman on Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night.
And
BU's no slouch now.
No.
Now UConn only has 3 Hockey East games. They tied Notre Dame, they lost to Notre Dame, and they beat. I forgot who they beat. They beat Notre Dame actually.
Yes.
They beat Notre Dame. So those are only 3 games they have, and I think BU only has 2 Hockey East matchups. So they haven't really gotten into their Hockey East thick schedule, and the other teams up there, I think New Hampshire is 3rd in that league, and that's who they ended up playing in the playoffs. I think not in the playoffs, but they were
year before.
Yeah, trying to beat them to get into.
Then Vermont was last year.
Yeah, Vermont was last year. That's right. So we'll have to wait and see, and of course we got Fenway Frozen coming up. We'll have to see.
That's
January.
Yep.
Yeah, January.
Yep.
But
we changed the gears a bit when we talk about the Wolf Pack now.
Yeah.
I couldn't be at the first game. Pete says, "Oh, they look great. They're doing
they look
wonderful."
like an idiot. Yeah.
And then whoosh.
As soon as I said that,
it's like the wheels fell off.
Oh my gosh.
I feel bad because what you told me.
Yeah.
I was all excited. All right,
was
cool.
too.
These guys are getting out of the gate quick.
Yeah.
They have the chemistry built. We're ready to go.
Yeah. And then it's a defensive issue. I mean, they're really bad in the last 10 games. This is how bad this is. So in the last 10 games, they're 1-7 and 2 overtime losses. So they got 2 points there. But 1-7 and 2 in 10 games, and getting tremendously outscored. I mean, we saw the 4-0, the 11 o'clock game. They got beat 6-2 in Providence. And it's a little interesting when you break down the numbers. You see that they really get pummeled on the road. Mm-hmm. And at home, the games are a little bit more competitive, and they score a little bit more goals. But they're just giving up over 4 goals a game. And it's just it's hard to believe, really, because Magnus Hellberg is not a bad goalie. Mm-hmm. Mackenzie Scapsey was a backup to start the year. They shipped him down to Greenville so fast. Mm-hmm. After he had they brought up this Brandon Halverson, who's a rookie, and then he got fed to the Wolves, and he gave up 5 goals and on 19 shots, and the poor kid gets up here. He's 20 years old, and he gets shelled. But it's really the defensive breakdown. They got McElrath back from the Rangers.
And they traded him.
And then they traded him right away to the, But you know what? That might have been a bad thing because, that guy was just, he was
an anchor.
He was a little bit like a roadside cone on the ice. You just kind of go around. I like McElrath. He was fun and he was exciting and stuff, but this team's kind of built for more speed and finesse. And yet they really have a big hole in defense, and I don't really know what they can do to fix that because AHL doesn't necessarily go, we have to go make a trade.
Oh, and by the way, we want to grab someone from Greenville.
Yeah.
Who are you going to get?
Yeah, I know.
These are all college
kids.
No
kidding. Yeah,
You need them to develop something before you're bringing them up.
And you don't want to ruin someone's confidence at the same time because you can actually do that,
Sure.
But, there's a huge problem with defense, and I just don't know, if it's something that can actually even turn around. I've been fortunate enough not to see Janander after these games because he's got to be absolutely ripped.
Actually, I think he's more frustrated now.
Yeah,
Maybe initially he was ripped. He's probably really frustrated right now and trying to figure out how to right the ship a bit and see how they can go.
Yeah.
And when they playing Saturday night? They home Saturday?
Yeah, they are. Let's see, Saturday night. I think they're home, and then they're
away.
Yeah, no, where they play Wednesday. Well, they play tomorrow night against the Thunderbirds, which is the new Springfield team.
Springfield.
So they're gonna get smoked there, and but the whole thing comes down to is can Janander turn them around or get somebody in there that can solidify the defense? Because I think if they could just nail down the defensive part, I think the rest of it will take care of itself.
How have the crowds been when you went?
It's always slow this time of year.
Going against football.
Yeah, and you're going against football, and they have these Sunday games at 5 o'clock. Sometimes it's at 3 o'clock, sometimes it's 5 o'clock. They got a 5 o'clock game this Sunday, and then Saturday you were talking about they're in Binghamton.
Oh, okay.
So they're in Binghamton this Saturday, and then Sunday home at 5 o'clock. And I forgot who they're playing Sunday.
What do you think's worse, the 3 o'clock or the 5 o'clock? Probably the 3 o'clock because you're right in between the 1 o'clock and the.
I think the 5 o'clock because you don't get home until after 8. Yeah. Whereas the 3 o'clock you're home by 6:37.
Yeah.
But it's just a bad time because you're up against the NFL, and while they do have NFL games playing in the fan bars, you can sit there and watch both games. You can watch the hockey and watch the football.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work out well. And they already did hit a low mark all time. We talked about that I think in one of the shows.
Yeah.
I think it was a Wednesday night game where they had I think it was 1,400 or something. Yeah. It was not even close to that though. It was like more like 800, 900. Where you can, the only good thing about it is you can yell at the players and they look up at you like, what, you talking to me? Yeah. yeah, you can hear me because, there's no one else here. But, that's
now
just the way it goes with the attendance.
I know you keep an eye on the social media on the Wolfpack side. I read some articles here and there. What's the social media talking about out there with the Pack? It seems like, I saw in the Hartford Hockey post that, hey, the Rangers off to a great start. Send the Wolfpack help now. So, you can see some of the frustration coming out, and, what have you seen out there?
Well, a lot of people said to me, they thought Mackenzie Skapski was really doing bad. He was a backup goaltender. And, 2 years ago, Cedric Desjardins, the goalie for the Wolfpack, went down with an ACL or MCL, and Mackenzie Skapski had to step up and, as a rookie goalie, and, he did well. So I think there's something there, but the fans were kind of like saying, we want this guy out of here. So he actually did get sent out of here. They seem to know what they're talking about, but they took another hit. And the Rangers have a couple injuries, and Cristobal Bou-Neves, who plays for the Wolfpack, was called up. So now they have a little bit less of an offensive pressure. This is one of the guys that was quick and fast, and noticed in the first game, and then since then, total disaster. But anyway, I think overall people are kind of just frustrated with losses. I mean, you just keep looking at these. They had their
slow start,
and not only that, but they had their longest homestand of the season, which was only 6 games. But I think they only won one of them. And so there you go. You got the longest homestand, and people sat through 5 losses and one overtime win. I think it was against Hershey, and that's been about it. And it's just there's not a lot. Once they get down 2 or 3 goals, it's it. It's almost like, can we stop them from getting 6, 7 goals? So there's definitely a big problem with the defense. And while people say, some people say, oh gosh, Janander, he should be gone.
No way.
No, I wasn't going to say. No, it has nothing to do with that. He can only work with what he's given.
And the other thing is, there has to be more commitment. I mean, listen, I don't play hockey. I'm not in the locker room, but when there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
It's up to him to put them back together. And, okay, the game's over. Let's focus on going forward.
Yeah.
And Ken Janander is that type of coach. Is that type of person. So, like I said, I can see him being very frustrated. And when you sit there and you feel bad for him because he's just a great guy. But we'll have to stop by and see the Wolfpack play.
Yeah, when you come down, because this way
every time there's a game, I'm either working or
you're there. But I mean, when you go down there, maybe because he does recognize you when he sees you. So that'll be good, especially if they get blown out by something.
And it's a shame because like you said, you had a bunch of the Hockey East guys coming in to try out for the team. A couple of them made it, or got sent down to Greenville. But you have that connection to Hockey East. You have that connection. They played in the XL Center before, so you're maintaining that. you know, and it's tough with AHL hockey, just like minor league baseball. They're only here for a short period of time.
Right.
They're either called up or traded to another club.
Yep.
It's not like it used to be where someone was with a club for X amount of time and you got to know
Yeah,
them. And,
you need that. You know,
but sports in general is like that. We've talked about it
Yeah.
in our off-show productions where we sit there and say, you know, hey, the Whaler guys, whether it was Denis and Francis and Samuelson, they were here for X amount of time.
Yeah.
So you got to know them. But even today, you
Yeah.
look at these teams, whether it's any of the professional sports, they're up until recently they didn't have long-term contracts.
Yep.
Now they're spending lots of money for long-term contracts, and you know that there's stipulations built into those contracts for injury or whatever. You know?
Yep.
So, but we'll have to see how things go. You know, we're running out of time, but we'll have some statistical data next time when we get together, and Pete will be here now on Tuesday, and I'll be here back the following week, and we'll go over everything, and maybe we'll do some player profiles of UConn as well as
get to know the team a little better.
The Wolf Pack, You know, I think it's important that we highlight what's going on with both clubs. I mean, we've done it with UConn. Now I think it's time we concentrate on the Wolf Pack and see what the nuts and bolts are and see where.
Sure. Let's talk a little hockey.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So until next time, we're the Whaler guys. You guys are Brigade. We are One Nation Under Green. You guys stay strong. We're still jogging that marathon, and we have time to kill. So see us next week on the Whaler guys. Have a great night.